Welcome to Unplanned Podnancy, the only show on the internet where sometimes you feel lonely and you want to grab your closest friend and say, hey, can you listen? And we're that friend. I'm Chris.
I'm Matt. Hey, can you listen, as in, like, will you listen to me, or like, will you fucking listen to me? Like, can you shut up?
I think sometimes it's both.
Okay.
Sometimes your best friend is the person who just won't shut the fuck up because they're like, hey, you're going to be interested in everything I say. You're my best friend. And you're like, hey, be quiet. I have an issue. Stop talking.
Okay. Fair enough.
Matt, how's your week going?
How's my week going? My week's actually going pretty okay. My life is in a really stressful place right now, but actually, most things are looking up. So, yeah, it's in an interesting place. It's been an interesting week. Interesting things are going on with my job. Interesting things are going on with my life. Interesting things are going on with podcasts.
Yeah.
Our podcast has been getting some more followers and some more listeners on Spotify in particular.
Yeah.
And we were both on Don't Look Under the Internet this week.
Were we?
Yeah.
Is that what that stranger was all about?
Yeah, that guy named Mike.
Yeah.
That wasn't just a homeless guy.
Oh, I thought we were just doing a recording of this show, and he just like hopped in, and we were just like, oh, we'll switch it up a little bit.
May as well do this. Yeah. If you haven't already, go listen to that. Don't Look Under the Internet. If you're not listening to it, or if you haven't listened to it, what are you doing with your life?
Yeah. It was a great show. Mike, what a great guy.
Yeah, he is a great guy. Anyway, that's my life. How was your week?
How was my week? Uneventful, like super uneventful. It could have been less eventful though. That would have been nice. I'm constantly feeling just on edge. You know, I feel like I need a vacation again. I just need to unwind.
Yeah. Didn't you just have a week-long staycation?
Yeah.
A month ago?
So work got to me basically. Had a lot of stuff go sideways at work. And you know, the normal work things. It just was a lot this week, and it's just after the previous week of work, it's just been built up, and I'm ready for another vacation. But you know what? You can't have a vacation every day, otherwise you'd be unemployed.
That is what being unemployed is. Yes,
it's true. It's a daily vacation. I've been unemployed for periods of time in my life, by choice, luckily. I'm going to tell you what, I love it. Absolutely love it.
Pretty sweet.
It's
just
pretty
do whatever you want to
sweet.
do.
It's pretty nice to just not work. Yeah. I'm just lifing, man. I'm just lifing. Cleaned this past week. Signed up for grocery delivery service instead of going to get groceries. Yeah, that was crazy. Signed up for Walmart initially, asked them to deliver by 8 p.m. They hadn't delivered by midnight, so I canceled that order and went to Kroger and had them deliver my food. So fuck you, Walmart. Deliver food on time. Okay. That's my message. That was my big
Kroger,
event.
sponsor us.
And yeah, if you sponsor us, I forgive you. Oh, Kroger or Walmart,
Yeah,
either one.
Kroger.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Walmart will forgive you. Kroger, keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
But also sponsor us.
But also sponsor us. And Meyer, if you want to jump on there, I'll shop there. That's it for me. But, you know, this week has been exciting for a lot of people. Today especially. I'm going to date this episode. Today is the day that Biden announced a $10,000 prize to everyone who still has college debt. I guess it's kind of a prize. It's kind of just here's $10,000 off. It's like a coupon.
Another grand prize that everyone gets.
Yeah, except for the people who already paid off their debt.
Yeah.
Or didn't have it. But yeah.
Or make more than $125,000 a year.
Yes, there are stipulations to it. Yeah, $125,000. Less than that, yeah. Was there a minimum?
If you make $125,000 a year or more, you're not eligible.
Right. Which I guess if you have more college debt than that, you probably went to a pretty nice college or were in college for a really long time.
Yeah, it's probably not as much of an issue for you.
Yeah, probably not. But we're not going to dig into that topic because I mean, we could do politics. We've never specifically stated we would avoid politics. But that's not where this topic is going. It's going to decision making.
Decision making.
Decision making. Matt, today's topic is, what would you do if you were president for a day? And by extension, what would you do if you were president? A day is a really limited amount of time. Nothing gets done in a day as president. We all know this. Let's not pretend otherwise. What would you do if you were president? That's the question. And you know what? You don't even have to pick of America. You can pick any country if you really want.
See, I think when most people ask this question, they're envisioning like some sort of magical world where the president is just supreme ruler of America and can just do whatever the fuck they want.
Oh, absolutely.
Which that's not how it works. So if we're going that route and you can just do whatever you want to do, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to answer this question without getting too deep into politics. If I was president for a day and I had unlimited power, the things that I would do would probably be like, I don't know. I think there are things that I'll get into politics for a second. I would make, I mean, I think I would put more protections in place for gay marriage and LGBT rights and things of that nature. I would put more protections in place for, I'll say it, I would put protections in place for abortion because I think you may not be on that side if you're listening to this, and you know what? That's fine. But it's what I would do, and it's what most of the developed world has done. So
it's true.
I would do that. And then I think a lot of my presidency, whether it was like ruling with an iron fist or working through the current like bureaucracy and stuff, would be investing resources into renewable energy because I think a lot of people, I mean, it's a hot button topic, whether climate change is real or not, and whether renewable energy and fossil fuels and stuff, whether that's actually worth anybody's time. But the thing is, if you create a bunch of jobs working on renewable energy development and stuff, the worst case scenario is you've put a bunch of life into another industry that people can work in.
Yeah.
And it's going to create jobs. Like I don't understand people who are so militantly against developing renewable energy. You're going to create jobs.
Yeah.
People have to work doing this.
Yeah, I don't understand that either. And like the concept of renewable energy, it's now an energy source that we just have that doesn't run out. What's bad about it? Whether global warming is an issue or not, or whether the climate is at danger or not, like you said, we now have an energy source we don't have to constantly dig through the earth to get. That's
right.
A win.
Like, people will say that you're going to take jobs away from coal miners and people who work in the oil industry and stuff, but, I mean, it's not like there aren't other jobs that are going to be created by this. People have to make solar panels. People have to deliver solar panels. Yep. People are going to have to install solar panels.
Yep.
People are going to have to maintain solar farms and wind farms. And, like, there's... I don't understand what the harm in putting effort into a developing industry and catching up with the rest of the world is.
Yeah, I agree with you.
That's a big thing for me. And then the last thing, if we're living in the realm of like actual possibility and realistic goals, would be investing in space travel and space exploration and stuff like that. I think that whether you believe that the planet is going to die a horrible death and we're going to run out of oxygen and global warming is going to kill us all or not, we're going to get to the point if the population keeps growing where we're just going to run out of space.
Yep.
and we got to go somewhere. So
true.
I think it's a worthwhile investment to try to figure out how to get into space.
Yeah, I mean, even if like the current generation and the future generations forever decide to have less children, and maybe the population curve like evens out or even like declines and like dips, still doesn't matter. Eventually, this if you're talking about the survival of our species, eventually our star is going to explode, and Earth's atmosphere and moon will only block meteors so long until a giant one comes and slaps it like it did with the dinosaurs. So, for the survival of the species, we have to leave at some point.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. At some point, eventually. So, we may as well get on it.
Yeah. Why wait?
What's the worst case scenario? We develop a cool telescope and we create more jobs again. Like, I see people... Okay, I actually took this stance on Twitter. I don't know if you saw the tweet that I posted. I don't tweet much on the Podnancy account anymore because nobody follows the Podnancy account and it's dead.
Yeah, this is a call to action. Go follow us on Twitter. Maybe we'll tweet.
You'll get tweets like this one where I took I think I said something along the lines actually of on Podnancy we don't typically take stances on divisive issues, but I retweeted a picture of Jupiter from the new NASA telescope that they launched, and I was like, this is the dopest shit. Like, if you think that NASA and space is a hoax, so you're lacking critical thinking skills. Like, I feel like I'm about to just derail this episode into talking about flat Earth theory and like ragging on people. But if you look at the thread that I retweeted on the Podnancy account, it's just people arguing about the flat Earth and how NASA is just making up these pictures of space and how it's all a lie. And I don't understand it. I've spent some time on YouTube watching videos from people with this perspective. I've Googled things from people with this perspective. And I don't understand what you think the end goal is. It just seems like these people are just convinced that the government is tricking them into thinking that the world works a certain way for the hell of it, just because they think that lying to them and making them and like making people think that the Earth doesn't work the way that it does, it means that they can exhibit some sort of control over people. Do you understand how much effort and how difficult it would be to get enough people to agree to maintain this conspiracy without anybody slipping up somewhere and giving you like undeniable proof that they're lying, or somebody blowing the whistle? Like the fact that there are people out there that think that for decades the government or the Illuminati or whatever the fuck you think exists has been able to maintain this illusion in such an incredibly like seamless way it's absolutely baffling to me that anybody thinks that. Humans can't do anything right. We can't do it. It would be the most monumental undertaking, the most incredible achievement of mankind for any organization to pull that off. To pull off a lie of that magnitude and not slip up somewhere, it's incredible to me that anybody thinks that.
I don't understand it. I can only imagine that the reasoning behind it is they think, like you said, it offers them some kind of control or some kind of power. Maybe they think that, if it's the flat Earth and they try to convince everyone that it's, a globe, then we won't go seeking the giant elephants that are holding up the flat Earth on top of the turtle's back. And, we won't find these magical creatures or escape the ice ring around the planet and see Narnia beyond or something like that. I don't know. It's goofy as hell to me because it seems pretty obvious that things are round. Like, I don't know. Why would the planet be flat? Like, that's my question. Why would you even think it's flat? Like, where would you get that idea? Because you looked into the horizon and can't see anything beyond the horizon, but you walk to the horizon and, well, there's more land? That doesn't make sense. Just think about it. Where does the flat part come from? Why would you think it's flat?
The thing is, it's like Occam's razor, right? Like how the simplest explanation for most things, like you can bet that the simplest explanation for most things is the actual explanation.
Yeah.
And people ask flat earthers the obvious questions, like when you look off into the horizon, why can't you just see forever? If it was flat, you would just be able to see from, as long as you had high enough elevation to where like nothing was going to be in your way, like a mountain or something,
right,
you would be able to theoretically see from New York to Florida.
Yeah.
Like eventually, I guess, if it was foggy, the light would disappear into the fog or something.
Sure.
But it's obvious there are so many places on the planet that you can look out onto the ocean or through a desert or something, and you can see things disappearing behind the horizon.
Yeah.
And there are explanations that flat earthers have made up for why this would be the case, like light refraction or something. It doesn't make any sense. If you have to come up with a convoluted explanation.
I'm sorry. I just want to interrupt you right there. They believe in the properties of light and refraction, but they don't believe in the planet being a globe.
Right. That's the thing. They just pick and choose what properties of physics they believe in. It is. Okay. Another explanation is, why can you fly around the Earth if it's not a globe? Why can you take off from Los Angeles, keep flying straight, and end up back in Los Angeles after you've gone over China? And their reasoning is, like, some of the reasoning I've seen is that because the Earth is shaped like a disc and something about the gravitational pull of the disc or something, planes think they're going straight, but they're actually flying slightly sideways, so they're just flying in a circle and they don't realize it. Like,
What?
When you have to make up shit like this, when you have to invent new physics to explain stuff just because they've decided on an end, like they've made their theorem and decided that it's fact, and then they try to like make up the experiments to fit it. It's baffling.
That's crazy.
Absolutely baffling to me.
That's crazy. That's
if you're one of those people, or you know one of those people, stop it, or tell them to stop it.
That's something
Stop.
that was just proven hundreds of years ago.
Yeah,
We've known this not to be true for hundreds of years. Hundreds. Stop it.
yeah, stop it. Get some help.
God, that's goofy. That's so investment into space. That's where you would go.
And education. God, we need to fix education.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is a failing of the educational system, or if it's social media's fault, or if crazy people like this have always existed and now they can just post on the internet where people can see them instead of standing on a street corner screaming into a megaphone or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but whatever it is, that's one of the things. We need to fix that. Whatever causes this thing to happen, where NASA can post a picture of Jupiter, and instead of being like, man, that's dope, everybody just argues over the flat Earth in the fucking comments on Twitter. Whatever that is, that's what I would fix.
I think that is it. I would assume that's education or like mental wellness. That's
Mental health care.
Mental health care,
definitely part of it.
Yeah, maybe we just need to get people more help. Maybe they just need to be in hospitals. And maybe they just need to be taken away from their ridiculous parents. But maybe that's just education having effect over time, and people just need to get it out of their dumb heads that the Earth is flat.
Yeah.
I'll take a definitive stance on that. Yeah, the Earth isn't flat. You're stupid if you think so. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's dumb.
Get some help. Yeah.
That's real dumb.
Did I interrupt something that you were saying to go on that rant? Anyway, that's my answers, and I feel like a running trend on this show is you ask me a question like that, and I come up with some like answers that are fairly grounded in reality. And now I'm going to turn it back over to you, and you're probably going to come up with just some funny, crazy shit, and that's fine. That's what I want to hear. What would you do?
I part of my favorite part of doing this podcast are the rants though, and I think that's the good. The crazy shit that I would do. I'm not, first, the things that I would address, education would definitely be one of them. I agree wholeheartedly on that. I think healthcare and mental health are two things that are poorly lacking in America. Especially, yes, healthcare exists, but the way that people take care of their minds and their mental health is severely lacking in America and probably most of the world. And I think most of the world's probably depressed for a lot of reasons that can be talked through with a professional. So that would be things that I would address almost assuredly. But, when I was thinking of this question, I definitely went to the extreme. I'm not going to say because I would probably want to make all of America like a dictatorship if I just had that like unlimited power and be like, okay, now I just get to make all the choices.
Is this going to be fucking I'm making super clones to fight so that I can be the superhero because I'm the only person who can be my own supervillain?
No, I already did that.
Again?
I already did that one. No, there is something to be said about, and here's a stance that no one's going to like. There is something positive to be said about dictatorships.
Oh, God.
And there's obviously negatives to communism and dictatorships. The obvious negatives are no one should have that much power because power corrupts. And I think that's been proven over time. One of the positive things about a dictatorship, though, is that you see someone's vision come to life because there's no one there to stop them. So the country becomes shaped how they envision it, and if they're on the right track, it's really good for the country. I'm just thinking about the positives here from my own perspective of changing the United States to a dictatorship from my stint as president, which I guess if I make it a dictatorship, I just stay president, can't take it away. I already changed it. Because there are a lot of things in America that I would want to fix. I think that Americans as a whole are overworked. There are a lot of countries that don't work as many hours as Americans. I also think their economies aren't doing as well as America's, even though we could debate that. But Americans spend too much time working. I think a lot of people in the world spend too much time working. Japanese culture focuses a lot on work, but that's a whole other topic. I think Europeans are the English work a similar amount to Americans, but I'm not sure about that, as well as Canadians.
I know people in Scandinavia don't work as much as we do. They have like regular, like really long summer breaks that they do where lots of people just take off work.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Just go on a vacation for a month or something.
See,
like
that's one of the things that, like, if I had absolute power and I could change America in absolute ways, changing the way that we view work would be one of those key things. We only live for so long. Why are we spending so much of each day working? Don't get it. Doesn't make sense. It's not necessary. Most people, when they work each day, whether they're in an office or working remote, no matter how they're working, they're not working that full time they're at work. They're working a small percentage of it. Maybe not a small percentage, but 50%.
Almost nobody works 8 hours during their 8-hour shift.
No.
Almost nobody.
Almost nobody. So we don't need you people being stuck at work for 8 hours. Let's shorten that time frame and improve efficiency during that time. You know, maybe if your shift is 5 hours, you're going to be more motivated to just work through the 5 hours because that's all you got to do. You don't got to sit there for 8 hours. So let's shorten that.
Absolutely. If I came to work if I came to work and I knew that I was only going to be there for 5 hours, I'd hit the ground running. I'd have my coffee ready to go. I'd show up at 5 o'clock or 9 o'clock, sign in at 9 o'clock or whatever, and I'd just get to work. And I'd be like, you know what? 5 hours from now, I can just leave.
Yep.
And I would probably get more done.
Oh, does anything feel better other than a day off? And I could probably argue this, but does anything feel better than a half day at work? I love half days.
I had a half day at work actually this week because I went to work on Monday and I had to go to an eye doctor's appointment, and they had to put stuff in my eyes so I couldn't see for the rest of the day, so I had to take the rest of it. The story is not important. Anyway, I had a half day at work on Monday. I think it was the most productive day at work that I had this week, actually.
See?
Because I was like, I've only got until my doctor's appointment at 12:30 to get these things done, and I need to get them done. And so I worked.
So
really
you hammered
hard
them out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you get off of a 4-hour shift and you go do your other things and you hammered out that work, you feel like you were productive. You feel good about that day's work.
Oh, yeah.
And you have time. It's a win-win. It feels good to get things done, and you have time in your day. It's the best feeling. A lot of people will be like, I just want to sit around and do nothing, and don't realize that being productive and getting things done makes you feel better as a person. And if you just focus people to be productive for a period of time each day, instead of dragging the shit out and them not wanting to be there at all, everyone would be happier. Everyone would be happier.
Yeah, 100%. I think I agree with you 100%. I think I'm less motivated to work when I know I'm going to have to be at work for 9 hours.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, man, I don't want to be here until 6 o'clock. I don't. And also, you lollygag because you're like, I've got 9 hours to get this done.
Yep.
So a lot of the time, I would wager a guess that, yeah, I probably don't get any more done in a 9-hour day than I would in a 5-hour day because, like, yeah, I think I'm just repeating myself here. But when you show up and you've only got 5 hours, you're like, I got to get this done. When you show up and you got 9 hours, you're like, I've got 9 hours to get this done.
Yeah.
So that your first 2 hours of your day is like, I'm checking email, I'm drinking my coffee.
Exactly. You're just dicking around burning time, which isn't good for the company or yourself. Burning your life away just because, that sucks. Yeah, I would make a sweeping change to science, in the field of science towards space exploration as well, because I love Star Trek and I love Star Wars, and let's go to the moon and beyond, man. Like, let's get the fuck off this rock. I brought this up during your point. We're all gonna die if we don't get off this planet eventually, and by we all, I mean our species. We've got to leave at some point, so let's get started. Let's get to work on it. We know we can. Let's go. Let's start hammering it away.
I will also offer an argument. Sorry to derail you for a second.
Go for it.
But when these sorts of things come up in political arguments, particularly in America, I think the reasoning for a lot of people when they say that they don't believe in global warming, or they don't believe that the heat death of this, or that the sun's going to burn out, or that the planet's going to blow up eventually or something. A lot of people base their arguments on religion. And they say, like, I think a lot of people's thought process is God wouldn't have put us here on this earth if the earth wasn't going to take care of us. And God has a plan, and we're going to get through it because of God. What if, hear me out, what if, because throughout human history, there have been many points in humanity's existence where there's been some shit we've had to overcome.
Yeah.
There's been some shit in everyone's life that they've had to overcome. And how many times have you heard people say, well, this was part of God's plan, and God gave me the tools to work through this to make me a stronger person? What if, and hear me out, if you believe in God, how do you know that God didn't put this species on this planet with the tools that we needed to get off of it and become an intergalactic species to see if we could do it and to make us a better, stronger race of people.
Yeah. That makes sense to me.
Just putting that out there.
That makes sense to me. It's like if you're playing a video game and a developer creates 50 levels, they don't put you in the first level so you stay there forever. Just saying.
Yeah. If we stay on this Earth and it blows up at some point and you get to the pearly gates and you're like, what happened? I thought God was going to take care of us. Why did the planet blow up? And he's like, you had rockets, dumbass. Don't blame me.
You had so much time. I gave you so much time to leave and you just didn't. Yeah. No, that's a perfect argument. Yeah, if you believe God put us here, then why wouldn't you believe that God gave us the tools to leave? Makes sense to me.
Yeah, how do you know that this isn't Tutorial Island?
Now that's a topic. Earth is Tutorial Island? Oof.
Yeah.
I like that. That's possible too. Put us all here so we can work out our differences, learn to love one another before we go out in the universe and interact with other species.
Yeah.
Get the shit bred out of us before we go intergalactic. Nah, that makes sense.
I think there's a lot of arguments to be made for Earth is the proving ground.
Wow. Well, God, I hope so. I want to get to the pearly gates and be like, was this the tutorial? And God be like, yes. That was level 0. Humanity has not moved to level 1 yet. Oops. And we're on the 5th expansion, so there's 100 levels. Humanity has a long way to go.
Your server sucks.
Yeah, God's just a kid in front of a computer, and all the other gods are like bullying him. Bro, I can't believe your humanity hasn't gotten past level 0. What's wrong with you? I'm trying, guys. They just keep warring and fighting over whether the Earth is flat, even though they've gone around it in rocket ships. And they've got
know what else I
satellites.
can do. I really shouldn't have given them Twitter.
I thought social media would make them smarter. They could share the information. But they just keep lying to each other. It's crazy. Poor kid God on his computer playing Earth.
Yeah. Man.
There's got to be a show like that, right?
The worst simulation. Probably. There's probably a movie.
That's probably a movie.
We have no original thoughts. Surely somebody has already done this.
No, yeah, absolutely. Beyond that, beyond space travel, trying to restructure the workforce, taking care of people's mental health. It would get goofy. I'd go into the goofy territory if just like absolute power. Yeah. I can't.
This is why you can't have the dictatorship.
Yeah,
it starts out great, and then
my brain also doesn't function well with the concept of absolute power. It just.
I don't think anybody's does. I don't think we were built for that.
Yeah, I'm just like, I want a clone army. Give me a clone army.
I want it now.
I want it now. I don't. Also, I don't see the problem with human cloning, but that's a whole other thing.
Human cloning. Let's debate the ethics of human cloning. Isn't part of the issue with the ethics of cloning that the clones are never as healthy as the originals? Like, I think there's issues with that whole process that leads to health problems.
Well, did Dolly was the clone, right? Dolly was the clone of the sheep.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know.
Didn't Dolly live like a normal sheep's lifespan?
I don't know. Okay, what I do know is that there are companies in China that will clone people's pets for a certain fee. Like, it's like $15,000 for a cat or something like that.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Yo.
Yeah, there are companies that will clone pets.
I
do know that part of the debate around this is that the clones are not as healthy as the originals. It's something with the process means that they're not going to live the same lifespan that the originals.
Yeah, but are they doing like high quality cloning or is it like cheap cloning? And they're just like Petri trays are
like
a little
back
dirty.
alley
It's fine.
cloning. Yeah, I don't know. That may be it. It may just be like in an effort to make the process cheaper so that they can make a business out of it. They've cut some corners. I don't know. That might be it.
I don't know.
We're diving into territory where I only know so much again. But
I don't know if you can cut corners in cloning. I don't know.
I don't know enough about it.
Can you just cut corners in like a super? I guess when I think about cloning, I'm like that's a super like cutting edge science thing, but it's not. Cloning's been around for like 30 years now, and we just it's just so uncommon that it still feels like sci-fi.
Yeah. If you could make a perfect copy of a human being, and they weren't going to suffer any adverse health effects, I don't see the issue with it. As long as the person who's being cloned consented.
Well, yeah. No, I agree. My brain was like, wait, but that person didn't consent to being born, and then I was like, neither did I.
Nobody consents to being
exactly. Born. Sorry, you're here. Suck it up. Yeah. You got to deal with it now. You're here. Oops. Yeah, man, you could do so many things with clones. You can fix so many issues with clones. And you know what? If they die faster than normal people, kind of a win-win. They do a bunch of stuff and then they just leave. like if you clone someone and they're like aged to like 25 years of age in like 2 years and they only live for 5 years, you can get a lot out of them.
That sounds like slave labor.
Yes. That would be slave labor. I mean, it's kind of what they did in Star Wars. It's exactly what the clone army was.
Yeah. I mean, are you saying you don't see the ethical problem with that?
Oh, with slave labor? No, I totally see the ethical problem with that.
Okay.
I'm just saying that's one of the things you could do.
It is one of the things you could do, but I thought the debate is human cloning ethical.
Oh no, I think the process of cloning is ethical. I don't see a problem
you're
with
just
that.
birthing another human.
Yeah.
What does it matter what his genetic makeup is? Like.
Yeah, no, I think that's fine. What you do with them, that's where the ethics comes into issue.
For sure.
I'm just saying, if they are defective, there are things you could do with them that would be unethical, and there are things you could do that wouldn't probably be ethical. Maybe. I don't know. What would you do with a person that only lived for 5 years?
I don't know. 5 years is not a lot of time.
No. I feel like...
Is that even enough time for them to learn anything?
I mean, I would assume if...
It would have to be like manual labor. Like.
Yeah, which, again, you're just getting into slavery territory. Be like, we're creating you to live for 5 years, and then...
Yeah, I don't think there's any way that this is good.
No, unless it's like war. Which, again, is probably still unethical to create soldiers just to die.
I mean... Okay,
but then you could be saving lives.
I think that's an ethics debate that's worth having. Is it less ethical to build a clone army that's only going to live for 5 years anyway and send them out to die? Is that less ethical than taking a bunch of people who have a bunch of 18-year-olds who have their entire lives ahead of them and signing them up to be shot at against their will?
Yeesh. Being born to die versus having a normal lifespan and
having that taken away from you.
Yeah. Oof, man, that's hard. That's legitimately hard.
That is legitimately hard. I think the only thing that you can say that is more ethical about taking people who already exist and signing them up is they're not all going to die. Some of them are still going to live their lives.
Yeah, because if you create a clone army and they don't die, they still die.
Yeah. So, on one side, you're guaranteeing death. On the other side, you're just significantly increasing the risk for death. Yeah.
But you're also putting human life in danger that could live to do like a lot of different things.
Yeah. And a lot of those people who don't die are going to spend the rest of their lives with trauma.
Yeah.
And then we get into the debate of these things that are only going to live for 5 years are going to die, and they're not going to be able to really live out their trauma. And so are you saving human suffering by just ending it? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I'm like on that fence. Now I'm like leaning toward, yeah, we should be making clones to go fight wars. But I don't think we can actually like up age clones. But maybe.
Yeah. But could we?
If we could, I kind of feeling like clone armies make sense. But if you have clone armies, if humans are like, okay, it's fine to make clone armies, then everyone's just going to make a clone army. And then you just get clone army clashing with clone army and nothing gets resolved.
Yeah, now we're just going to have war just because we have these expendable human things.
They're just toys at that point.
Yeah.
Then you just like strap cameras on them and like film it and like people watch it for fun.
Oh, God. Yeah. Yeah, it would... No matter how valiant the original intention was, yeah, you're probably going to end up in real uncomfortable territory pretty quickly. Yeah, it's probably not a good thing to do. I think you're right though. I almost think it would be better. The net human suffering would be less if you could just clone 20-year-olds who are only going to live for 5 years either way, and just send them out to fight instead of sending. Ooh, I don't know how comfortable I am saying that. It feels icky.
Yeah, that's a real morally gray area, but I don't know. It does. It to me. It.
Are we getting into the Empire Did Nothing Wrong territory here?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. No, they destroyed a planet. Of course they did something wrong.
Yeah. Nah. We're not. But they might not have been all wrong.
Like many things in life, everything has gray areas. Everything that someone does that is wrong has some kind of right to it. Everything that people do that they believe is right is probably going to be wrong in someone's eyes. That's humans. What do you think? Let us know down in the comments.
Let us know. What would you do if you were president? And do you think it is more or less wrong to clone temporary human soldiers and send them into battle?
Yeah.
Instead of sending regular humans.
And if this episode made you angry in any way, because we hit on some topics that could, maybe tweet at us or follow us on Twitter and tweet at us, and maybe we'll respond with some kind of argument.
No publicity's bad publicity.
If you normally listen and you were offended, maybe I'm sorry.
You'll get over it. Or you won't. This has been Unplanned Podnancy, episode 18, the one that got us canceled.
Thanks for listening. It was a fun ride.
Maybe we'll be back next week.